So next, we're just going to talk about kind of like how our working memory works and how lifeguarding and how it's all interconnected. So again, we got our kind of 4 sticky notes. These are kind of like moving boxes as well. I kind of like that idea of it because then you've got to fill them up. Up here is our long-term memory. We got our lifeguard. He's busy. He's got to go, and you know how it is. They got that big chunk of gum stuck to that piece of chrome. He's been told that's what he's got to do, so he loads that into one piece. Next, he knows from his working memory he needs to clean it. He's got to go get the scrub brush, all the cleaning material, and that kind of thing. Now, because he's done this a few times, and this is not a complex task for him to really do, he's going to actually load up into one of those spots what he's going to do tonight. He's thinking about going to a movie, maybe he's invited a couple friends, what movie he's going to go to, still meanwhile being able to perform this task, right? Because all he needs is a scrub brush and stuff, and he's got to get the gum off, and he's done it before. And then the other problem that he's had today is that he had trouble getting his car started, but he got to work, so now he's got to figure out when he's going to get it into work. So we got 4 things going on here in his brain, but 2 of them are occupying what he's doing at the moment. Is actually trying to get this gum off it. But he has the ability, leeway to be able to have some other things slide in and think about what he's going to do that night, how he's going to get his car fixed. Now, what about lifeguarding? Now, what about when we got to go on deck and we got to do scanning and we got to recognize patrons that are either, potentially going to get themselves into trouble or they've already got themselves into trouble. So what happens is he's going to start to go lifeguarding, right? He's going to dump out he's done cleaning the chrome. He's going to get rid of that out of his working memory. And he's walking towards the deck, right? He's still I got the car fixed, and then maybe I'll call, Michelle and see if she wants to go to the movie tonight. Again, he's got to clear all that out. If you're going to go lifeguard, you can scan and do this complex task. You got to get all that information out of you got to be focused on the actual task. So you're going to go start lifeguarding. You head out to the pool. You start about how you're going to scan your area. So you move into your area, you know your zone, you know how you have to scan it, and what kind of laps you got to do around the pool to check your corners. The next thing you're going to load, because you've been doing this a while, you've been doing your practicing your Halo events, and you've also been practicing what a patron trouble looks like. So you're going to actually that's going to take up a spot. But now, because you've practiced it, it's now just a chunk of information. It's a schema. It's like it's almost like a flow chart. You can pull it back and forth very easily. The next step is that you scan the pool. You see somebody, gets into view, and this is all happening like by milliseconds. This is really fast. You check the connection, see if it works. Patient does not look like they're in trouble. Looks like they're having a good time. Bam. Nope, they don't need to be rescued. Oh, in the next slot, as the other person's moving out of that slot, you're moving into another one, right? You check. Nope, they're okay as well. And again, you do it again, and this is what's happening while you're scanning. You keep looking at the patrons in your zone, and you're looking for the signs that a patron's in trouble. When they're not in trouble, and this is when we're talking about the sieve or the cauldron, where your brain, that vision of that girl comes in, you recognize that girl. It does not look like she's drowning. It just keeps dumping the information. It doesn't hold it in place. But what you keep rifling through is how to do these 2 tasks. Of course, they're complicated, so you've practiced them enough times, they don't take up a lot of space. Again, nope, they don't match. All of a sudden, something pops up. It doesn't look right. This could be in your peripheral vision. Somebody could be thrashing in the water, and it makes you want to take a better look at them. You take a better look, you realize that yes, they do have signs that have a patron that's in trouble, and checkbox. Bang. So what happens next is now you're going to move into a rescue mode. Right now we have to go rescue this patron out of the pool. So what happens is we get rid of the scanning from our working memory. That's basically in our forefront. We get rid of what they look like, and we start bringing in our other skill sets, like how to do first aid, our procedure on how we do the rescue. We keeping track of the patron that's in trouble, and like I said, we start a rescue. So we're gonna blow our whistle, off we go, splash. You're into the water. You got your rescue tube. We get there. You do your rescue, and then you got your first aid to make sure that they're treated well. But what if this happens? But what if? What if you came to work sick, not feeling well, and I'm talking sick, or Maybe you went out drinking last night, you didn't get enough sleep, you're hungover, and you come to work, and now you're scanning the pool. So now you're on deck, you're doing your scanning, you're feeling how crappy you feel. Like, I feel really shitty. Like, I don't feel well. All I need to do is go to bed. And this is kind of what's going through. And while you're doing that, in your working memory, and then you have this kid that's over here that's now in trouble, but this is taking up your working memory. You don't have the ability to actually rifle through what that patient's supposed to look like. Or maybe you're doing your scanning wrong. Maybe it's your scanning that's not is being impacted by it, and therefore you can't recognize this patron that's in trouble fast enough. Here's another example. Um, this is talking about distractions, right? So you're on deck, somebody comes up to you, could be a patron, upset about how dirty the change room is. They start yakking at you back and forth, and it becomes a complex conversation. When that complex conversation comes into play, let's just say that you still can remember what people look like when they're in trouble. But then you've lost the ability to scan, so you're no longer. So this young gentleman might actually be over in the corner of the pool where you're not looking at because you have somebody talking to you. And maybe maybe it is another lifeguard that you're working with, and they're like, hey, you want to go mountain biking this week? And that's taking up the activity that you guys are talking about. So if it's a patron complaining about how dirty the pool, the change room is, that might be popping into your head about how you're going to have to get somebody to go clean the change room. We can only hold so much information in our working memory, or what they call it in neurosciences. So you got to think about, when you're doing your scanning, when you're lifeguarding, it's very important that we minimize the distractions and move ahead, and then get rid of these things and actually do the task at hand. So again, we got our 4 slots. You don't want to come sick. You want to know how to do your scanning. You want to take the complex tasks and make them automatic, and then you also want to be able to recognize when people are in trouble.